First, though, straight up to Tory party conference. Mel Stride, MP and Shadow Chancellor, is with us. Mel, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Good to see you. Protest in Manchester, protest in London, protests all over the place. Now Shabana Mahmood's talking about clamping down on protests, but I'm slightly concerned that she might decide to start clamping down on all kinds of protests.
Well, obviously, we need to look very carefully at the proposals that the Justice Secretary, Home Secretary is making. But look, Mike, we've ended up in a position where these marches have been a source of a great deal of hatred. We have ended up in a position where many Jewish people in particular and Jewish communities have become extremely fearful, and they've been fearful indeed for some time in our country, and that just isn't right. So there is no doubt that the government needs to take further actions. We do need to look at the detail of what is being proposed here exactly, and as you're suggesting, obviously make sure that the exercise of those new powers is appropriate. But we do need to do something about a situation which really is deeply unsatisfactory.
Yeah, and it's causing all manner of different problems up and down the country, not least that terrible event up in Manchester last week on Thursday, where a crazed Islamist terrorist was able to, thankfully not able to get inside of a synagogue, but was able to get through the gates of a synagogue and just start stabbing people because they were Jewish. You know, what has happened to this country?
Well, I think we've arrived at a very, very sad moment when something like that happens. And it is bred of a generalised feeling in certain quarters that's being expressed often in these marches, which is stoking things up to the extent that appalling individuals do things like that. And that's why it's important that the government does get a grip of this and looks at these marches and looks at whether they're always appropriate. But as I say, we will want to look at the Home Secretary's proposals very carefully. These measures will have to go through Parliament, so there will be an opportunity to debate them then. But we certainly need to move to a point where these marches are not in and of themselves actually fueling problems, including the kind of problem that you have just touched on there, Mike.
You're speaking today at Tory party conference. You're going to promise £47 billion in savings, cuts to welfare, cuts to foreign aid. Is anyone listening, though, I suppose is the question, Mel?
Well, I think it's important that we are very clear as a party as to what we stand for. And people have been saying to date, well, we need to see the policies. I don't think anybody by the end of this conference will be able to say they don't know what the Conservative Party stands for. We're talking a great deal here about issues around stopping small boats and illegal migration, and Kemi has made a very important announcement about withdrawal from the ECHR, for example, but also the economy. We are a country that has been living beyond its means, and we have a Labour Party that is in denial on that and borrowing and spending and taxing like there's no tomorrow, and we've got a Reform Party which is peddling fantasy economics, promising everybody everything they want to hear but not really coming up with any clear plan as to how they're going to deliver or pay for it. And we've got to be the grown-ups in the room. So what I'm going to be saying today in my speech is that we do need to get a grip of debt and the servicing costs on that debt, and that means getting a grip on government spending, and that then allows us in turn to make the kind of choices around things like tax, particularly around tax and business and growth, that can get the economy moving. But we can no longer continue in the way we are, living beyond our means, because I'm afraid that will end up in a very dark place if we do.
Well, do you know, the Labour government said they were going to be the grown-ups in the room, so maybe you might want to come up with a slightly different slogan, because it obviously doesn't work for them. One final one for you, Mel. People are showing me the cover of the new programme for the Tory party conference, and there's a whole collection of your colleagues on there, sort of senior shadow cabinet ministers. Apparently you are not there. Why is that? Did you miss the boat?
Well, that was that was because when that photograph was taken, and I believe it was pre-arranged at a particular time, I was in the United States. Actually, I was in Nashville, and the person I was meeting was Arthur Laffer, who, as you will probably know, is the man who is all about lower taxes, and I was discussing with him how we get taxes down and the importance of doing that to growth and getting a lower tax economy. And I think that was probably more important than being on the front page of a brochure.
Indeed. All right. Well, I'm sure she'll make it up to you over the course of the next couple of days. But Mel, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you. Mel Stride MP, Shadow Chancellor at Tory Party Conference, which some people are saying isn't very well attended. It's certainly not as well attended as the Reform Conference, which I was actually at, which was great fun, full of people who actually wanted to be there.